you, Marco. Dish out on the movies. And we're here to discuss the latest episode of Fargo, which is episode number 8, season 4, and it's called The Nadir. And I looked up the nadir, and I'm glad I did because it's not what I thought it was. It means the lowest point in the fortunes of a person or an organization. And I would say for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people, that would refer to all of them, the lowest point in their fortunes. And I don't know if they just meant a lot of people or just one, but it is a very apropos title. And I don't know what else I should say.
Well, okay, let's just get straight into the episode review.
Okay.
Or else, the reason, and I want people to know, the reason why I interrupt her is because she meanders and rambles and on and on and on because she doesn't know what to say, and so it just kind of ruins the reviews. So that's why I do that. I just want people to know that because people might think that I'm doing it for the sake of doing it or something like that, but it's pretty unfortunate this episode because I think that it had a lot of good things about it, and then it had some things that really made it pretty bad. It was one of those episodes where I would say that people would either love it or they hate it, because it doesn't leave a lot of room for enjoyment in the rest of the season. I would say even for people who like the show, like, people who liked all the episodes that we didn't like, they're going to watch this episode and go, ugh, I'm not really excited to see what happens next anymore. Because there's a lot of characters who kind of get ruined this episode. They get turned into, I'm not going to give anything else away with that, but let's just say it is very disappointing for many reasons. But that being said, I'm going to start off with the things that I liked, just to get that out of the way. Because I'm more negative than positive on this episode, contrary to last episode, which I like to remind people that I gave last episode like an A. And so it's not the fact that I'm biased, that I'm just negative about everything. I want people to realize that before I really tear into this episode, like I'm able to. First off, I really liked the scenes with Mario and Mustache Man, the Italian brothers. I really, really liked all that stuff. I thought that was a great acting on their parts, and I thought that it was like the perfect, like, this is going to be good now, with them at least. And I thought, like, wow, this is really top quality. Oh, excuse me. I thought this is really top quality, and like I wish that the rest of the season would have been just as good as it is right now, with the two of them sort of having a back and forth, and finally having like an honest scene together, and it also kind of like, I'm not giving anything away really, but Mario agreed with me that the Mustache Man had a great strategy last episode, and I thought that was great, like, because it makes last episode even better, because it's like, Mario, he actually like really thought that was a smart move, and I thought that's hilarious, because that's like, I totally agree, and that was just a great moment. And other things I liked the nurse. I like the scene where she discovers the diary, but that comes with some negatives. But I really like that scene, that sequence, because I thought, finally we're going somewhere. This season has had a consistent problem of just spinning its wheels with characters, and then, having this little thing at the end, and then that's it. And I'll talk about that for the negatives. And then other things I liked. Well, see, the problem was with the other things that I liked is that they lead into very big negatives. Uh, and the negatives would be spoilers. So I don't know, and I don't know what to give this episode too, because it's like, do I give it like a fair, like in between, like a okay, negative and positive, or do I give it an F minus like I would want to if I was really just, upset about it? Well, unfortunately, I am upset about it because I think that it just goes along with the poor quality that this season has been building up. The problem is with having bad storylines is that they grow into other bad storylines, and they just, they keep on going and getting worse and worse. It's like with Better Call Saul, season 4, they had all these bad storylines, and they caught up to them in season 5, and, season 5 suffered because of season 4. And it's the same thing with this season, because, well, what do you think, Sophie? I mean, you haven't said anything in a while. I mean, do you agree with what I'm saying, at least, that, like, a lot of, I mean, people really, like, I'm questioning, like, what's there to be excited about anymore?
Oh, I'd
Really?
say there's a few things.
The nurse?
Well, I'd like to see, there's a saying, what goes around comes around.
Yeah, but she hasn't really done anything this whole season, so it's like,
Well, she's only killed a few people, but
just a couple of people compared to Lauren Malvo, who killed like thousands of people in the first season.
oh well, yeah. If you look at like that, want to compare, but I don't really want to give away any spoilers. But like I said, for her, it's what goes around comes around, and she. I don't know what she's going to do, because she is vindictive, but she's vindictive in this quiet, I'm smiling and I'm singing and dancing around kind of way. So I don't know what'll happen with that. And I was shocked that the marshal made a mistake.
What are you doing?
I'm just going to tell you what the things
That's a spoiler.
Well, there's nothing else to say
That's
about it.
a spoiler. No, don't say that, Sophie. Shut up. Don't say that.
Okay. Well, Marco was talking about the 2 Italian guys.
Yeah.
And I thought that Mario, I was a little shocked about this too, that he's a lot smarter than I thought.
Well, he did a great job at acting too, where he really did like an in-between kind of performance, where he was half, normal Mario, and then he was half new Mario, and I really liked that.
And I guess with that, I'll let Marco talk more after this, but I guess one thing, and I don't care, I don't think it's going to spoil anything, because I don't know if it's just there for show. I don't know what the purpose. This ghost-like character, he shows up in a train station in Kansas City. Why?
And the thing is,
twice I think he showed himself
yeah.
there. Nowhere. I don't think he was anywhere else in the episode. Just in the train station twice. And like, I want people to make a comment. You don't even have to write a whole thing. Just a word or two. Who do you think this is, or what do you think this is? I guess if I have one guess, I think it might be the Grim Reaper. It's not like a what is it, that Christmas story, Christmas Carol, Grim Reaper. It's just their own version of one.
The thing is that that's inconsistent, because why would he just be focusing on one character instead of focusing on all the different characters who will die? And then I think that the biggest problem with that ghost is the fact that they try to play the ghost off his appearance as some sort of like an emotional moment or something. And to me, there's no emotion that you feel if you don't know what the ghost is, or like why it's there. And so, like, them showing the ghost like in a pivotal scene, it really doesn't do anything for me, because it just, it's kind of like if anyone's seen Twin Peaks season 3, there are a lot of things that happen in that season, and you don't know why it's happening or what's happening, and there's no emotion behind it because it's like, okay, so stuff is going on. It's like, who cares? Like, we don't know what it is or why it's there.
Well, you know who it looks like? It looks like Spawn without the superhero costume. That's what his face looks like. He's been burned.
He's
on
white.
His face,
he's
and he's white. I'm pretty sure. I'm not totally positive about that.
He's white, Sophie.
And he's tall. And so that's what he reminds me of. There's nobody or nothing else I can compare it to. I mean, if you think of the traditional Grim Reaper, he doesn't look anything like that. So I don't know. I just want to know if anybody, make when your comments, all you have to do is say one word or 2 words what you think it is, and that's fun. It'll be interesting to see what everybody thinks.
Well, I'd like to get into spoilers, so let's just go ahead and rate it. This has been a 10-minute long, so I hope that's enough for people. In general, I would say that this episode is bad because it sort of like ruins good storylines that we're building up with bad storylines that are now going to grow from those moments. And so that's the issue. But this episode did have some good stuff in it, like some genuine good stuff, but it's just unfortunate that it all kind of got ruined. And one more thing that I'd like to mention that I liked the mustache man. He started talking about his past, growing up with the Irish family, and I thought that was really interesting. I'd like to see more of that. I was kind of disappointed. I won't say why it got cut off, but basically he wasn't allowed to finish what he was saying, and that kind of irritated me. And I thought, I'd like to hear more. But I would rate this episode, as I said, an F-. What?
I didn't realize it was going to be that bad.
Well, I said that I could either give it a fair, like a D+ or a C- type of rating, or I could go with what I'm feeling right now is extreme disappointment and unexcitement and not feeling enthusiastic anymore about watching the rest of the season. And so the fact that it's made it to where it's affecting my enjoyment of future episodes is really irritating. And the fact that you had these great characters and you just destroyed them. So
okay, well, I forgot to mention one thing that I was particularly flummoxed or surprised and confused about was the fact, he's already mentioned this, I'm not giving anything away, the nurse finds the diary. Okay? Now, if you write a journal or a diary, you write almost every night, and that's what it looked like she did, the little girl, the teenager. And so I don't know. One thing that's very hard for me watching these kinds of shows is time. How much time has elapsed since she left the journal there to where they are that day or evening or whatever? And wouldn't she miss it? And why wouldn't she be scared about the nurse finding it? And why wouldn't she be trying to get it back? I don't get that. I mean, to me, that's obvious. Anybody who writes
will
wonder what the heck she's doing.
But she's smart, Sophie. She's
smart, but she's a teenager, and
but she's smart, right?
She makes
Trace?
mistakes.
Sophie?
Marco, she's a teenager, and anybody who knows teenagers, they make impulsive decisions. Like she decided to do that letter to that hospital administrator. She took one of the nursey girl's trophies, and which was actually pertains to this season, and because who knows how many people she's killed in her lifetime.
Which, to be fair, what's that trophy ever gonna do?
Well, we'll see. We'll see if it plays any part. You got to wonder because the girl was actually looking at it. Here she is. She's worried. She's all preoccupied with looking at this trophy, which is a ring, and it belonged to that mafia father.
And that's her trophy now. She took a trophy from a serial killer. It's now her trophy.
It's kind of weird. And I think that was the thing I didn't. And I gave the episode a B because there's things because the brothers. I thought that thing where Mario made this revelation in his head, or he had an epiphany, and he shares it, and it's actually smart. Well, I thought it was a dip, you know what?
Yeah. Well, it started out really dark, where it sort of looks like actually Mario has taken over.
Yeah.
But then it turns into actually he's made a smart decision. It was like, that was really good. And as I said, if I were to give this episode like a nice guy type of review, like if I was feeling nice, that whole storyline would probably raise this episode up a whole letter grade to a D minus, but because of all the other stuff.
And then there was these mysteries, the mystery of the ghost or whatever it is. What is that? Who is that? And like I ask, what do you think it is? And then also at near the end, watch it very carefully. Maybe you'll have to watch it a few times like me. I've watched it 2 or 3 times now. And who is this group of men? Okay, there's a group of men that show up. I won't say where or anything else. But who are they? Where'd they come from? And that's it. So I gave it a B because it's like a mixed bag. I don't think, well, something terrible happened that Marco doesn't like. And for a lot of reasons. Not for just because he just liked the character, just for a lot of reasons. And I won't say, because I'm not going to speak for him.
Well, she knew I wasn't going to like this episode.
Yeah, I told him. I warned him because I get up real early in the morning. And sometimes I've watched this in the middle of the night, but I better not do that anymore. And I watched it first thing in the morning, which is like 5 o'clock.
And you saw what happened. You're like, uh-oh, Marco.
Yeah, So it was a mixed bag, okay? Because these things like the girl in the journal, as a person who writes, who's written a lot in the past, who's written for the newspaper, everything, and I know, and I've been in a writing group, people who do this kind of writing that she was doing, they don't just forget about their journal, leaving it somewhere, especially when they know this nurse is a serial killer, could be a serial killer, or and maybe not just a murderer. Maybe they don't even know what serial killing is, but anyway, a bad person. And so you'd wonder. I mean, you wonder why in the heck didn't she try to get that back? I mean, I don't know how she would have done that, but that nurse was at the hospital a lot. First, she offed that she tried to off the guy with her really beautifully made macaroons or whatever they're called, and then she's been there as a nurse, and so she's not been at the apartment or whatever you call it for a long time, so she had plenty of opportunities if somehow get back in there and get that journal, but she never did. To me, that's weird. I don't get that. And I know I'm going on, and I'll stop, but I gave it a B because there were some good things there, like just keeping the story going, because they weren't mentioning their nurse at all and what she'd done, like what she's never going to have any consequences. It's all about these men, and they make stupid mistakes, and they fight over power, and they want to kill. I mean, come on, really? So that's what I did. So go ahead, Marco. If you want to spoil, what do you want to spoil? I mean, I suggest you watch it. You people have to make your own decisions, and we can't tell you how to think and what to like.
To be fair, the people who consistently dislike every review that we do for this season, they've already made up their decision about our review before they switch on the review. So who gives a flying F if, like, they're listening to, like, who cares? Like, it's our opinion, and if these people who don't even have channels, channels with any videos, maybe they could do their own videos, and if they were good reviews, I would go support them, even if they're saying things that go against my opinion. But the problem is that people nowadays are so nice to everything because everything is trash. Movies are trash, TV shows are trash, everything is trash. And so people aren't being fair with their critiques anymore. Like the guy who writes like essays on every video, the guy who talked about the lighting, he said that the U.S. Marshal was gonna like mentor the black narrator girl, Ethelreda, and he said that like it was gonna be a cool storyline where he inspires her to become a police person, and I thought, wow, that sounds actually pretty good. I'd like to watch that. Like that sounds actually pretty good. No, not gonna happen because guess what they had to do? After all of these episodes of just the marshal sitting there in his car for one scene, just one little scene, all he's doing is sitting in his car. Guess what they do this episode? They don't even give him anything good or badass to do. They just kill him off, and it pissed me off a lot. Because what was that? I heard from someone that they ripped off the Untouchables. I looked up the sequence from Untouchables. I was like, what the hell? They ripped off a movie for the stupid TV. What are they thinking? They ripped off this whole sequence, the way that it's shot, the way that the characters are positioned. What the hell? And then, after all of this buildup with that cool character, they don't give him anything to do but run downstairs. What's up with that, Safi? He just stands there, he looks at people, and then he runs down the stairs, and then he's dead.
And what did I say? And you said to stop talking?
What?
That he trusted the bad cop.
Yeah, and that's another thing, too. The agenda. Oh, no, you couldn't have two good cops. You had to have a bad cop in this particular season, if you know what I mean. This nervous cop, they had this great storyline. He was such a good character. They were giving him all this good character. He could have been one of the best Fargo characters in history. He's lifetimes better than those weaklings in season 1 dealing with Billy Bob. He is much better than that Hillary Clinton cop in season 3. The agenda cop. He is such a great character. Oh, nope, he has to be a bad cop because this season's about a certain issue and it takes place in a certain... Oh, of course, he's got to be bad. And so they turn him bad after all this great character development. It was just horrible. He did kill one of the two disgusting criminal lovers. I was glad that he blew her head off. That was some great violence. I was really glad to see that biatch get what she deserved. And I love, too, the fact that one of the things I did like about that was the fact that her character did not get an honorable, outlaw death. She got this horribly demeaning death where she had to surrender, and then, boom, boom. I was like, wow, I'm glad that you did that. Oh, wait, no, you're going to kill the marshal now. And I thought, that is so stupid. That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. What were they thinking? Oh my God. They couldn't... the thing is, I might have been able to accept it if they had done the sequence better, but there's not even any action. We don't even get to see any action. It's just these cops running down the stairs. They get all shot up for some reason. That's another fucking thing.
And a whole bunch of civilians, too.
An army of cops with guns,
Yeah.
instructed to shoot.
Big guns.
All of them get killed
Like rifles.
by these two women who, they're not even injured. They're not even injured.
Mm-mm. The Native American girl had I guess what you could call 6 shooters or something. She had 2 handguns, I'll just say that. And then the other lady had a, what do you call it, a repeater.
An M40, it looked like.
I don't know, because I don't know.
A machine gun.
She had a machine gun.
And none of them are injured. It's just ridiculous. They don't even show any action. It just cuts.
It shows the carnage afterwards.
It's just ridiculous. And the fact that we didn't get any action, it was this big build-up where it was like really suspenseful. It was really well shot, and I was getting really excited. And then boom, they don't even show any action.
They filmed this at the Chicago, it looks like the Chicago train station, because Kansas City is refurbished there so much they probably couldn't get a decent shot.
Haven't we been there?
No.
The
And
Chicago
then yeah, we've been there.
Yeah,
we've been there.
We went there, so we.
And anyway,
it was just ridiculous the way that they were able to massacre all those people without getting injured.
And I thought, did a massacre like that really happen in Kansas City? Because I'm sure my parents would have mentioned it to me at one time or another. And I looked it up, and there was a kind of a massacre, if you want to call a massacre the killing of more than one person.
No, that's not a massacre.
Okay, well, this was the one they had last night. There were civilians everywhere, all shot up, and cops everywhere, all over. And anyway, in 1933, the feds came to that trains at Kansas City, the Kansas City railway station, and they had a killer with them who'd also been a thief. He had been convicted of multiple things, multiple crimes, and some group of people or somebody came and shot at them. They killed 4 federal agents, or 4 law enforcement officers, because there were both FBI agents and law enforcement. And then they killed, I guess, the guy, the murderer. And this was like outside the train station or whatever, but no, there weren't a massive slew of civilians, because I thought, my God, I think I would have heard that in some history class.
Why are you acting like?
Well, anyway, I just couldn't
happened.
believe that, and like Marco said, you have all this carnage everywhere, and those people weren't even the women and the marshal. They weren't even touched.
Their clothes were perfectly like
they just put them on for the day. And the bad cop, he was hiding, out having his PTSD moments or whatever he's doing,
and he had all this great character build up in this episode in particular. And then boom, it's just ruined. And now, of course, he has to be a bad cop to promote an agenda. And then, of course, the only good cop had to get killed. And is he dead?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I think so.
I hope not, because every episode
isn't dead.
Every episode after this, it's gonna be a negative thought that just comes across. Oh, episode 9. Oh, wish the marshal was here. Episode 10. Ugh, wish the marshal was here. Episode 11. Ugh, wish the marshal was here, because he would have kicked their asses.
Well, you just gotta wonder how this is all gonna turn out, because
it's gonna turn out trash,
well,
Sophie.
I don't know how. The only thing you can see is everybody's gonna kill each other.
Stupid.
Who's gonna be left alive? We know that the African American boy, he will be alive, but is the Irishman gonna be alive? And if you would have had them, and the marshal, he even said, he made it clear that he was only there in Kansas City to get those women. He wasn't going to become involved. I mean, it just seemed like that's what he meant. That with any of this other stuff that he had been witnessing, that he was just there to get those women. That's it.
It's the fact that they didn't give the marshal anything. After all of these episodes of him sitting in a fucking car, they didn't give him anything cool to do. They didn't let it be like, oh, look, the marshal got a good shot there. Oh, look, the marshal, he's closing in on them. They didn't even show that. It was just terrible. It was so bad. It was so infuriating. And then the fact that they had to ruin that nervous cop character, it was just disgusting. And it really pissed me off.
And he actually gave, you know, how we've been talking about people kind of dribbling out their life story. Marco just mentioned the Italian, the mustache guy, starting to talk a little bit about being with the Irish gang when he was a boy, but they didn't let him finish. They just a little bit, and then the bad cop actually spilled out a whole bunch of stuff to the marshal, and I guess that's why the marshal trusted him. I don't know, but he did give him a little bit more of his life story too, which I like because it gives more depth to the character. They're just
not anymore.
Apparently there's cardboard figures.
Apparently there's no depth because he's still a bad cop because cop bad.
I don't know. It's just kind of bizarre. And the marshal it seemed like he was willing to help him. And
the fact that what they did with the marshal after all these episodes. And again, if this was any other season of Fargo, season 1, season 2, season 3, the police characters literally get to ride off into the sunset, eating lollipops and
carrot sticks,
riding on flying unicorns. The cops get everything they want, even the bad ones, like the military guy, the cartoon, and then Saul, the cartoon. They get everything they could ask for. And then in this season, of course, when we're dealing with certain topics and certain time periods, of course, there's got to be bad cops. And it's got to subvert what they did. It's stupid. And it's really showing the fact that, it's really more so a formula of, I don't know how to explain it really, but it's scientific the way that, since this season is dealing with this time period, we have to have bad cops. And it's like, you really ruined it with these characters. And, I'm really not looking forward to anything besides the rabbi and the future Mike. That's the only thing I'm looking forward to. And even then, I really could care less.
Okay, well, we better wrap it up.
Yeah, whatever.
And please like it or subscribe or dislike, but please make a comment about what you think this ghost is. Just your opinion. I think everybody would like to see what you think, not just us. So have a good day, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.